Hello, Dr. Shrivani. Thank you for
Hello, hi Rama.
accepting. Thank you for accepting this open talk with us and to share your experience related to gene therapy. Thanks a ton for joining with us.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I know we have been meaning to do this for a while, but finally we got time.
Yeah, the time has come. Actually, we have few questions related to the gene therapy.
Uh-huh.
If you can introduce yourself, and later on, there are few questions which can be answered by you.
Sure. So my name is Shrivani. I live in the US. I have a 6-year-old son who was diagnosed with DMD almost 3 years ago, and we got an opportunity to participate in the gene therapy clinical trial through Sarepta. So it's more than 2 years since we have participated in the trial, and I'm happy to talk to your community regarding any questions and doubts they have regarding gene therapy.
Great, courageous mother, I should say. I
Yeah,
have
I
few
think we all
questions.
have to.
Very true. I have few questions at my end.
Mhm.
I'll pose one by one. If it is okay for you, you can answer them. Okay.
Sure.
First and foremost, we wish to understand what is basically antibody test.
Yeah, so basically, the gene therapy is based on an AAV vector. It's an antiviral vector. I think it's adeno-associated virus. So for giving gene therapy, there are like millions of, these viral particles which are injected into the kid's body, which carry the microdystrophin gene. So it is important that the kids who get this therapy do not have any antibodies for it. And each company has their own vector. Like, for example, like Sarepta uses AAV RH74. So it is important for the kid who will receive this gene therapy to have no antibodies that will neutralize this gene therapy. Because if you give gene therapy in a kid who has positive antibodies, it will neutralize itself, and the drug will not be of any effect. Similarly, like different companies who are using this AAV vectors are using different viral vectors. So for each gene therapy, there is a specific antibody test that is a prerequisite to be negative before they're even considered for gene therapy.
Okay. You mean to say that every kid will be tested for the antibody based on the
Yeah,
negative or the positive results, they will be qualifying for the gene therapy of
there,
Sarepta.
yes, yeah.
Great. And the other question is like, before participating into the gene therapy, are there any prerequisites? We understand there are some tests which should be mandatory done, and he should be on the steroids. All those basic things are there. If you can just inform those, that would be better.
Sure. I think, each, specifically to the Sarepta one, which I have experience with, each clinical trial, we were part of the clinical trial, so I can speak for that. They have their own prerequisites and the protocol. There's like a lot of blood work, the kids get. I think they check for the blood panel. They want to make sure all their renal function is okay, liver function is okay. And I think there's like a bunch of tests. They even have to have a muscle biopsy before considering for gene therapy, because they want to see how much of the dystrophin, if they are making any, because they want to see like how it changes post the treatment. This is like part of the clinical trial, we were part of. So we had to get a muscle biopsy before and 3 months after as well. So muscle biopsy, a lot of blood work. I think they will even check your cardiac function, like an echocardiogram, EKG, and the physical therapist will evaluate. They have certain criteria as to like what the baseline physical condition for the child is. So they want to make sure they meet all those criteria before they're considered for gene therapy. So there will be like screening visits, which includes a meeting with your neurologist, with your physical therapist. You have all your cardiac workup, your blood work done, and then I think right before they say okay, they want to do the antibody test. so that they will be eligible for the gene therapy.
Great. I would like to ask you, like, were you extremely happy? What was your emotional content when your kid got selected?
Well, to be honest, when my son got diagnosed, we were taken into the clinical trial like within less than a year of his diagnosis. To be honest, like we didn't have time nor like information nor I have ever met with any families or talked to any families who even got gene therapy. I come from a medical background, so I know, time is muscle, especially with this illness. And
Very
then
true.
we did a lot of research, and then I think we came in contact with the PPMD and kind of got a lot of information. I think a lot of information and a lot of things were thrown at us in like 6 months after my son's diagnosis. I had like no one to talk to, like parents who had gone through the same experience because at that time, the gene therapy was still part of clinical trial, right? So not anyone can talk freely about it. So
Yeah.
it
Mm.
was challenging for us,
Mm.
but I think me and my husband we made a choice that this is the best thing that is available right now for our son,
Mm.
so we should go
Good.
ahead with it. It was very scary to
Mm.
take your 3.5-year-old into a
Yeah.
clinical trial. Yeah,
Mm.
but I think we had a great team. I
Mm.
think we just trusted the doctors. We just put all of our trust into them to take care of my son. So
Okay. Good, good. Fortunate enough. What are the risks for gene therapy? You have faced any risks, say, after 3 months of infusion or while, were there any risks which you faced them?
yeah, I think the main challenges would be, whenever your kid is considered for gene therapy, like usually like a week or two before, they will really increase the dose of steroids that the kids are on. When my son was, 3.5, he was not on any steroids at baseline. So it was a big like shock to us to see him like so hyper, so emotional with such high dose steroids because he was steroid naive. So I think that um, experience any parents will have to face because they will increase the dose of steroids significantly for at least like 3 months to kind of uh, uh, go along with the immune response the gene therapy will create in your kid's body. So, because it's a foreign vector, there will be immune response, to suppress that, the steroid dose will be significantly increased. And then, like after 3 months, they'll taper it down. So that the change of steroid dosing itself can cause a lot of, psychological issues, in your kids, and it can affect your daily life.
Yeah. Any food changes have you uh, done for your kid? Any food changes?
You mean during that time period, like the 3 months?
Yeah. In the trial period also.
Trial period, not specifically. I mean, definitely, with the high dose steroids, they're more hungry than normal. We try to, I mean, stay more, natural with foods like, fruits, fresh fruits, and my son likes it. So we try to encourage him eat that, but no restrictions as such. Yeah.
Okay. The other question is, if any families wish to go for this gene therapy, what do you suggest? I mean, they should be mentally prepared. Even at the
Yeah.
same time, the kid also should be prepared. What suggestion
Yes.
will you? Because your kid was the younger. I think that he's one of the youngest one who has been
Yes.
given this. There are
Yes.
few parents whose kids age is 5, 6, below 7.
Yes.
Uh,
Mhm.
what what is the piece of advice you would like to give them?
One thing is definitely it's a lot of commitment from the parents. I mean, and then from the kid itself. So usually after the gene therapy is given, there will be like a weekly blood work, which I mean, part of the clinical trial we were we did that. So I'm not sure how it is now after the drug has been approved. But I do hear from other moms who got it after approval of the FDA. Because, there's a lot of blood work. So that you need to be prepared for. And as I said, they will do the muscle biopsy before and after. So for that, they had to give my son some anesthesia. So, I mean, just seeing your child is, going through all that is challenging, like as a mom, as
Yeah,
a parent.
very true. Very
Uh,
true.
but yeah, I mean, it all comes with the treatment. So it is only one-time treatment. I think it's like a 2-hour infusion that you'll be in the hospital like for 12 hours. They'll monitor you, they'll do blood work and all that. So it's just a one-time infusion, but they will have to do the blood work every week, because once you give the gene therapy and you're on such high dose of steroids, they want to make sure that the immune response is not overly, affecting your kid.
Mm.
So they will monitor his liver function, they will monitor his heart function. So like all these things are important because like every kid is different, every kid
Different.
has a different mutation. So how it's gonna affect each kid is different. Even in my son's case, I think there was a couple of times where his liver enzymes were very elevated, and the doctor was concerned during the
Mm.
clinical trial. So in that case, most likely they will increase the steroid dose even more,
Mm.
suppress that immune response.
Mm.
But as long as you follow with your doctor and trust them, I think it has been shown, to be safe in so
Mm.
many kids who had received it.
Mm.
So that is reassuring. Even
Right.
though this immune response might happen, once, like in every alternative cases,
Mm. Mm.
but they were able to like suppress that by increase the dose of steroids. So
Okay.
yeah,
Two more questions to go. First is
sure.
many of them in India here.
Mm-hmm.
We have been hearing, or after this is being approved by the FDA, many of the parents are in the notion that yes, if once it is being given, it is given. I mean, once we are giving the gene therapy, everything is solved or everything is resolved. I
Mm-hmm.
wish to inform all the parents saying that it is not once we have given everything is it's settled. It is not like that.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah.
change that notion of many of the parents saying that we have given gene therapy once only it should be given. Yes, we have given it for once, and the child is out of danger. It's not like that. Is what is my belief. Any comments on? Hello.
Hello. Yeah, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Yeah.
You got my point,
So
right? Many
yeah,
of
yeah,
them are
I
thinking
did.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so basically, like this is not a full-length dystrophin, right? I mean, that's where itself you can know that this is not cured. But
Yes.
this is a microdystrophin. Like it's almost like not even half the length of dystrophin, maybe like 1/4 or 1/8. I'm not 100% sure on the length, but I mean it's a very micro version of a normal dystrophin gene. So having said that, like how it's gonna change your kid's life, it's hard to tell right now. I mean, it has shown to be safe. It has shown to keep the kids' um, functional abilities like stable, like how they calculate the NSAA score, right? That's when the FDA
Hmm.
approval came through.
Yes. Yes.
So it
Yes.
was clinically significant change in like younger kids. The more the kids are younger, the more benefit is what they are showing for the gene therapy. Having said that, I mean, it's not a cure. So I think your kid will still be on steroids. It is just the combination treatment along with your steroids. I think steroids are the standard of care anywhere, and the benefits of the steroids will not be, you cannot compare those, with any other treatment because, the steroids itself can reduce the inflammation, reduce the muscle damage, they slow them down. So on a background of steroids, if you add this gene therapy, I think it has shown benefit.
Okay.
How many years are the kids gonna like stay stable? Only time will tell. I mean, so far, the original study that was done in like 4 to 7 year old, I think maybe in 2018. So what I have heard is those kids are probably like 11, 12, 13 right now, and they're still ambulatory.
Good.
And they're still, stable on a stable dose of steroids as well. So
Okay.
definitely, I mean, the thing is, I would suggest to parents, I know anywhere in the world, that if you are interested in, considering this as a treatment for your son, you should be committed to do it. And you should be also ready that just in case, the antibody tests are positive, they will not be able to get it. But that's
Mm.
not the end of the world,
Correct.
So the more important clinical trials, happening in the US and across the Europe, there's so many exon skipping treatments, the second generation ones that are coming. So a
Mm.
lot of them are, promising.
Mm.
So I think we have a lot of options, but to get gene therapy, of course, there's a lot of commitment and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of hard work. Yeah,
Yeah. Just the last question, Dr. Shivani.
yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
you were part of the gene therapy trial. Now, currently, you are not into. Are you looking into any of the combination therapies which are coming across? Are you being
Um,
suggested any combination therapy at your end by your doctors in US?
so right now, I think my son is actually eligible for Exondys 51, but we are not giving him that because
Okay.
it was, I mean, the results of that were not too promising. And putting your kid through infusion every week and such a young boy, we just
Mm.
thought it's not worth it, right
Ah,
now. So
yeah.
we want to look for future other second generation exon skipping. So right now there's nothing in pipeline that is like almost close to approval.
Mm.
But obviously we are looking at like givonostat,
Mm.
and then I think there's some interesting studies. I think CAP 1002,
Yeah.
which benefits your heart muscle.
Mm.
And then yeah, there were like several other studies which were exciting
Yes,
and when we
yes. Very
attended the
promising.
PPMD. So
Yeah.
yeah, very promising. So I think we want to wait and look until
Mm.
we get a
Yes.
better option. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, this time PPMD 30, there were very two or three promising studies being taken up by PPMD 30. I
Yes.
I
Yeah.
just saw some Satiros and other Capricorn and other details.
Yeah, the
Very good
CAP
studies.
one 10 or
Yeah.
2 was like promising for the heart function. So that one,
Yes.
and then there's another one, Edgewise
Adjuvants, yeah.
Therapeutics has a Fox study. So
Mm.
that is also, they're basically looking at other ways to prevent the muscle damage, basically.
Okay.
So I think those are very interesting.
Yeah, let's be hopeful. And thank you so
Yeah,
much for coming online and just informing few answering few of the questions. Thanks a ton. I hope after this audio is being circulated, many will have many questions. Uh, if there is a lot of requests from the concerned parents, I might come back to you for another session wherein
sure.
I mean parents will directly want to talk to you. That we can facilitate if it is okay at your end.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Great.
glad, we were able to do this to
Yes.
kind of give the background information
Background.
from
Yeah.
mom's perspective.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
I did not have any of this when I was starting off, but
Very true.
I mean, I feel
Mm.
grateful that, I was able to
Actually, we
make
should
this
thank you.
conversation.
We should thank you. Initially, we thought of we, I mean, getting onto board and we thought of putting it to the across all the people. Then we thought, let me first interact with you on a one-on-one basis, wherein if this is going out, few parents might have few more questions. Based on that, we can have a second session or the third session, interactive session with all the parents. Thanks for accepting this and making this possible. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your thoughts on the trial which you have undergone. I'm extremely happy, and we are very hopeful for the other things coming on board for our kids across the globe. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll stop recording. Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Ramagar. Yeah.